Imagine a film where police helicopters equipped with advanced surveillance technology patrol American cities, monitoring citizens through facial recognition and thermal imaging. Picture law enforcement using military-grade equipment against domestic populations where privacy has been sacrificed for security. This wasn't science fiction. This was Blue Thunder in 1983. And it predicted our current reality with terrifying accuracy. When Blue Thunder soared into theaters during the summer of 1983, it arrived at the height of Reagan-era optimism about technology and law enforcement. Audiences flocked to see Roy Scheider pilot a state-of-the-art attack helicopter through downtown Los Angeles, expecting straightforward action entertainment. What they got was something far more complex, a mainstream thriller that smuggled serious warnings about government surveillance and police militarization inside crowd-pleasing spectacle. With a substantial budget and cutting-edge aerial cinematography, Blue Thunder delivered spectacular helicopter sequences, urban destruction, and earned over $40 million domestically. But beneath the surface thrills lay something much more unsettling, a paranoid conspiracy thriller disguised as summer entertainment. Blue Thunder didn't fail to find its audience. It succeeded too well at hiding its true message. This technically impressive action film with genuine political teeth became one of the 1980s most prophetic works, proving that sometimes the most important truths arrive disguised as entertainment. 40 years later, Blue Thunder feels less like fiction and more like documentary. Blue Thunder operates on two distinct levels that rarely intersect, creating a fascinating tension between what audiences wanted to see and what the filmmakers were actually trying to say. On the surface, this is a straightforward techno-thriller about a rogue police pilot using an advanced helicopter to expose corruption. Beneath that comfortable framework lies a deeply paranoid vision of America transforming into a surveillance state. The film's central vehicle, the Blue Thunder helicopter itself, functions as both spectacular action centerpiece and ominous metaphor. Equipped with whisper-quiet rotors, thermal imaging, and sophisticated recording equipment, the aircraft represents the ultimate fusion of military technology and domestic law enforcement. When Roy Scheider's character demonstrates the helicopter's capabilities, casually peering through apartment windows and recording private conversations, the film reveals its true concern: the complete erosion of privacy in the name of public safety. Director John Badham and screenwriter Dan O'Bannon constructed their thriller around surveillance technology that seemed impossibly advanced in 1983. The helicopter's ability to identify individuals through facial recognition, monitor multiple targets simultaneously, and record everything for later analysis felt like pure fantasy to Reagan-era audiences. Yet every capability depicted in Blue Thunder has not only become reality, it's become routine. The film's political subtext emerges most clearly in its depiction of government conspiracy. The villains aren't foreign terrorists or street criminals. They're corrupt officials planning to use Blue Thunder against American citizens during civil unrest. This wasn't abstract paranoia. It was a specific warning about militarized policing and domestic surveillance that audiences chose to ignore in favor of spectacular helicopter action. Most remarkably, Blue Thunder anticipated the post-9/11 transformation of American law enforcement. The film's what-if scenario, police departments acquiring military-grade surveillance equipment, became standard practice within 2 decades. What seemed like dystopian fiction in 1983 reads like policy documentation today, making Blue Thunder one of cinema's most accidentally prophetic works. Blue Thunder emerged from the unique creative intersection of 1970s paranoia thriller traditions and 1980s blockbuster sensibilities, representing a fascinating moment when Hollywood could still smuggle subversive political content into mainstream entertainment. The project originated with screenwriter Dan O'Bannon, fresh from his success with Alien, who wanted to explore the implications of advanced surveillance technology in civilian hands. O'Bannon's script balanced spectacular action sequences with genuine concern about government overreach, creating a template that would influence techno-thrillers for decades. Director John Badham came to the project with an unusual resume that perfectly suited Blue Thunder's dual nature. Having directed Saturday Night Fever, Badham understood crowd-pleasing entertainment, but his background also included television work on socially conscious shows like The Senator. This combination allowed him to navigate the delicate balance between commercial action movie and political warning, ensuring that neither element completely overwhelmed the other. The casting of Roy Scheider proved crucial to the film's credibility. Scheider brought gravitas earned from Jaws and The French Connection, making him believable as both action hero and moral conscience. His performance anchored the film's more outlandish technological elements in recognizable human emotion. Scheider's everyman quality made the surveillance themes accessible. He wasn't playing a super spy or military expert, just a regular cop confronting extraordinary circumstances. The production's greatest challenge involved making the helicopter sequences both spectacular and believable. Working with a modified Aerospatiale Gazelle, the filmmakers created Blue Thunder's distinctive appearance while ensuring the aircraft could perform the complex maneuvers required for the film's action sequences. The decision to emphasize practical effects over miniatures gave the aerial photography a visceral reality that enhanced both the excitement and the menace of the surveillance technology. Cinematographer John A. Alonzo, veteran of films like Chinatown and Scarface, brought a sophisticated visual approach that supported the film's thematic complexity. His camera work during the surveillance sequences deliberately evokes the perspective of the watched rather than the watcher, creating an uncomfortable intimacy that makes audiences complicit in the violation of privacy. The thermal imaging sequences, achieved through innovative camera techniques, felt genuinely futuristic while remaining grounded in recognizable technology. The film's Los Angeles setting provided both spectacular urban landscape for action sequences and pointed commentary about surveillance in American cities. Badham's decision to film extensively in downtown LA created a sense of authenticity that made the film's surveillance scenarios feel immediate and possible. The urban environment became another character, representing both the complexity of modern life and the vulnerability of citizens to technological monitoring. Perhaps most significantly, the production occurred during a brief window when such politically charged content could still find mainstream distribution. The success of 1970s conspiracy thrillers like 3 Days of the Condor had proven audience appetite for paranoid entertainment, while Reagan-era confidence hadn't yet made such themes seem unpatriotic. Blue Thunder represented the end of an era when Hollywood blockbusters could openly question government authority without seeming subversive. Blue Thunder's reception revealed a fascinating disconnect between what audiences wanted from their entertainment and what filmmakers were trying to communicate. The film opened at #1 at the box office, earning over $8 million in its first weekend and eventually grossing more than $40 million domestically. Audiences clearly embraced the spectacle, the helicopter sequences, urban chase scenes, and Roy Scheider's commanding performance delivered exactly the kind of high-tech action that summer moviegoers craved in 1983. Critics found themselves similarly divided between appreciation for the film's technical achievements and confusion about its political message. Roger Ebert praised the aerial cinematography while noting the film's paranoid undertones, but seemed uncertain whether to take the surveillance theme seriously. The New York Times' Janet Maslin focused primarily on the action sequences, treating the political elements as background flavor rather than central concerns. Most reviewers approached Blue Thunder as straightforward entertainment, either missing or deliberately ignoring its deeper implications. The film's commercial success led to immediate franchise expansion, but in ways that completely undermined its original message. The Blue Thunder television series, which premiered just months after the film's release, transformed the helicopter from symbol of surveillance overreach into heroic crime-fighting tool. The show's writers stripped away all political subtext, turning O'Bannon and Badham's cautionary tale into conventional police procedural. This transformation perfectly illustrated how mainstream culture could absorb and neutralize even the most pointed social criticism. Perhaps most tellingly, real law enforcement agencies showed intense interest in the film's depicted technology. Police departments across the country inquired about acquiring similar surveillance capabilities, treating Blue Thunder less as warning and more as wish list. The film's detailed portrayal of helicopter-based surveillance became an inadvertent marketing tool for militarized policing, with manufacturers using scenes from the movie to demonstrate their products' potential applications. The Reagan administration's response proved equally revealing. Rather than viewing the film as criticism of government overreach, officials seemed to appreciate its portrayal of advanced law enforcement technology. The Department of Defense provided technical consultation for the film, apparently unconcerned about its political implications. This cooperation suggested either complete confidence in their own virtue or complete certainty that audiences would focus on spectacle rather than substance. International audiences proved more receptive to the film's political themes, particularly in countries with recent experience of authoritarian surveillance. European critics drew explicit connections between Blue Thunder's scenarios and real-world examples of government monitoring, treating the film as serious political commentary rather than escapist entertainment. This overseas reception highlighted how American audiences' relative comfort with authority made them less sensitive to the film's warnings. Most remarkably, the film's box office success came despite, or perhaps because of, its failure to generate serious discussion about surveillance technology. Audiences seemed perfectly content to enjoy the spectacle while ignoring the substance, suggesting a cultural willingness to be entertained by their own potential oppression. 4 decades after its release, Blue Thunder has transformed from paranoid entertainment into accidental documentary. Its every prediction about surveillance technology and militarized policing having come to pass with disturbing precision. What seemed like science fiction in 1983 now reads like a blueprint for contemporary law enforcement, making the film one of cinema's most eerily prophetic works. The surveillance capabilities that Blue Thunder depicted as cutting-edge fantasy have become routine reality. Police departments across America now deploy drones equipped with thermal imaging, facial recognition software, and real-time data collection systems. The Predator drones patrolling international borders use technology nearly identical to what the film imagined for domestic surveillance. Every capability that seemed impossibly advanced in Blue Thunder, from silent aircraft to automated identification systems, is now standard equipment for modern law enforcement. Post 9/11 America has essentially implemented the surveillance state that Blue Thunder warned against, but with public approval rather than public resistance. The Patriot Act normalized domestic monitoring that would have seemed dystopian to 1983 audiences, while social media has created voluntary surveillance networks that exceed the film's wildest imagination. The helicopter's ability to peer into private spaces now seems quaint compared to smartphones that track every movement and conversation. The film's depiction of militarized police has proven equally prescient. The Pentagon's 1033 program has transferred billions of dollars worth of military equipment to civilian law enforcement, creating exactly the kind of armed domestic force that Blue Thunder presented as dangerous aberration. Police departments now routinely use armored vehicles, surveillance aircraft, and tactical gear that would have seemed appropriate only for warfare in 1983. Contemporary action cinema has largely abandoned Blue Thunder's political skepticism in favor of celebrating surveillance technology. Films like the Mission Impossible franchise present advanced monitoring systems as tools of heroic protagonists rather than instruments of oppression. The transformation reflects broader cultural acceptance of surveillance as necessary for security, making Blue Thunder's warnings seem not just dated, but almost subversive. Social media discussions of Blue Thunder reveal audiences finally grappling with themes they ignored during the film's original release. Young viewers discovering the film through streaming platforms often express shock at its accuracy, recognizing their own surveillance-saturated reality in what was intended as cautionary fiction. The film has found new relevance among privacy advocates and civil liberties activists who cite it as early warning about technological overreach. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated many surveillance trends that Blue Thunder anticipated, from contact tracing to movement monitoring to aerial enforcement of social distancing. The normalization of such measures has made the film's scenarios seem not just possible, but inevitable, transforming Blue Thunder from entertainment into historical artifact. Perhaps most remarkably, Blue Thunder succeeded as both entertainment and prophecy, proving that mainstream cinema could deliver serious political messages without sacrificing commercial appeal. In an era of franchise filmmaking and focus group testing, the film's willingness to embed genuine warnings within spectacular entertainment feels increasingly rare and valuable. If you enjoyed this exploration of cinema's most accidentally prophetic films, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the movies that predicted our present reality.